Hello and welcome to BUN News. So here I'll be sharing all the latest from the business world. So if you like the sound of that, please keep watching. So in case you're here for the first time and you're wondering what's this all about, so basically I know that a lot of people would go out of their way to see what's going on in the sports section, in the entertainment section of the newspapers, in the current affairs. But not a lot of us are very curious as to what's going on in the business world. And I feel like the business world is just as important or even maybe more important. So I thought I should make this platform and maybe to encourage a lot of people, young people, a little older people, it will encourage all people to come here and see what's going on in the business world. So that's my why for setting up this platform. So I hope you enjoy as you watch. So I'll just dive right into my first news for the day. So for my first news, I'll be talking about Boohoo. We know Boohoo, that's the clothing shop where they make different kind of clothing, mostly for young people. So that's basically what Boohoo is, just a clothing website where they sell clothes. Think of ASOS, Pretty Little Things, and yeah, those kind of website where they sell clothes for young people. So that's what Boohoo is. And Boohoo has been in the news quite a lot recently, actually. So there's been a lot of talk, basically, that Boohoo is they're paying their staff in Leicester a really low amount of money. So they pay them about £3.50 per hour, and I think the minimum wage in the UK is about £8 to £9 per hour. I'm not too sure. I'll put the numbers down below when I confirm that. And they pay their staff in Leicester about £3.50 per hour. So a lot of talks have been coming up that they're not really fair to their staff, and that during the coronavirus and when everything kicked off, they were not producing PPE, protective materials, and they were not looking after their staff that were working for them, sewing those clothes that, they sell on the website. So an investor called SLA, an abbreviation for Standard Life Aberdeen, so that is a really big investor basically in Boohoo. So they've come out to say that how can Boohoo not take these allegations as seriously as they should, and they decided to pull out of investing in Boohoo. Boohoo lost 1/3 of the value of its shares. The company, the SLA Aberdeen, decided to sell off most of its shares. Another investor, Jupiter Assets, decided to add more to its own portfolio of shares. So another investor, when they found out that the Standard Life Aberdeen sold their shares, they decided to add more onto what they were holding in Boohoo. I feel like it's a quite interesting thing that we should read about just to know what's actually going on. It's really sad if an investor that we like so much and we trust so much is not looking after their staff. They're not looking after, the suppliers, the supply chain people that are making the clothes that is bringing this money to them. So I feel like it's really important that we are aware. Also, I must mention that Boohoo said that they're going to have an independent review on the supply chain and really understand and assess what is actually going on. The shares has dropped because of this allegation. So for my next news, we'll be going to Europe. So we all know that Europe is a really big continent, so it's really difficult to ignore what's going on in that sector. So that said, so we all know the president of the European Central Bank by now, Christine Lagarde. I've spoken about her quite a lot, on this platform. I've spoken about her background, what she is, how she got to be the president of the European Central Bank. So basically now, she has decided that they're going to make another scheme basically to help the countries that surround the European banks to help them thrive in this season of the coronavirus. So it's an asset buying scheme. Buy assets from banks and then they give the banks money. So instead of just giving banks money, they buy assets. So it's an asset buying scheme that they buy from banks and then they give the banks money. So what she's saying now is that instead of just buying assets to give and then giving banks money, she's going to put companies that take the climate change situation more seriously at the people that she's going to buy shares from and then give money to help them in this season. She's going to support mainly the companies that are supporting the green agenda. Basically, that's what she's trying to say. And so obviously that has sparked a lot of uproar, because a lot of people are like, this is a really serious situation. This coronavirus situation is really attacking banks, it's attacking countries, it's putting countries into deficit. And you're now saying that instead of you to support banks, you have to support only companies that are basically into climate change and supporting climate change and the green energy. That basically this is not the time for that. This is the time to fix the economy. This is the time to pump money into the economy and make sure that the economy does better. Not the time to, maybe support this over this company, over that company. A lot of people are saying that's not the right way to go in this season that we're in right now. But I hear that and I understand that. And some people are coming out to say it's because she lacks experience, that, she doesn't really have finance background. That is surfacing a lot as well. That's why she's saying things like this. But in our defense, one of the policies that, the people came together to support is the climate change. She was basically saying that she wants that when a child looks at her, she'll be able to say, I did this, I did this, I did this to make sure our planet is safer, for their children and their children that will be coming behind. And I hear that, I understand that. So in our defense, I see where she's coming from. And because due to this coronavirus, a lot of PPE that they use in the hospitals, in the different environments, they're made from plastics. If there is any time to talk about climate change, I feel like it's now, because, even the fishes in the sea are apparently they're dying off because of the plastics that, they're feeding off of, that people dispose in these waters. So these are some of the things that I feel like should spark a conversation. What do you think? Do you think what she did is right by supporting climate change in this season? Or do you think she's meant to focus on what is most important and supporting banks and supporting economies, making sure they get back on their feet? Maybe she should have a balance. Maybe they could still support some companies and then support most of the ones that are going into climate change, because the truth is that climate is a big factor and it's something that we can't afford to ignore. And I don't know when is the best time to talk about it, if not now. Yeah, because yes, we have the coronavirus situation, but maybe we could think of better ways of dealing with it instead of, I'm playing the devil's advocate, instead of making our planet worse off by using more plastics. And another thing that people were saying, sorry, I have to chip that in here, is that most of the things that affect our climate are things that we can personally change ourselves. So instead of maybe buying the plastic milk from the shop, maybe you can take your can that you already have and then refill with the farmers, or maybe you can, try and dispose of your plastics renewably. You should reuse when possible, reduce the use of plastic bags and things like that. Some people are saying it's things that we have to do, not something that a country should take on board per se. But yeah, I would like to know what you think. That's the two arguments regarding that. I thought it's really important that we talk about it here, just because we're talking about business news, and these are things that affect our everyday as well as that can affect our economy as a whole. So for my last news, LinkedIn has been sued over allegation that it reads Apple users' clipboard content. So the content that you save on your clipboard on your phone, LinkedIn has been sued that it reads those contents from your phone and they use it to get more information about the person. And this extends to all your other smart devices that might be connected to your phone. So the lawsuit was filed in San Francisco by Adam Bauer. Yeah, he was an iPhone user and he realized that most of his items were being copied somehow by LinkedIn. And so he filed a lawsuit. LinkedIn did not respond immediately to that allegation. Also, other apps were said to be also copying our items, copying our information from our clipboard. So some of them were TikTok and 53 other apps. They were said to have been reading people's personal information from their clipboard and uploading that. So the LinkedIn executive said on Twitter that they've released a new upgraded version of LinkedIn in which that they won't be able to copy people's content anymore from the clipboard. Thank you so much for stopping by. That's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you feel educated. I also want to include a part to this, to business news, where I include the assets, the companies basically that are doing very well in this season, just so that you get an idea, so that if you're thinking to go into a company, you know the companies that are doing very well. And also, if you're thinking to buy shares or buy stock, you have an idea of companies and stocks that are doing very well. And then you can obviously invest in that. So I'm thinking of, including that segment a little bit in business news, just to give you guys a more big picture that can really actually help you, in decision making, and to be all that you can be, to make investment decisions that make sense. The information I'll be giving you will probably be real time. So it's really important that you go back and research and, make sure that that stock is actually still right for the time that you're willing to invest. But I will just always put the information on here so that at least whenever you're ready, you have an idea. Yeah, you have an idea, you have a big picture of what you could do and things that you could go into. Yeah, I hope that makes sense, and I hope that you're excited with me. Thank you so much again for stopping by. Thank you so much for looking at this beautiful face. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.